American literary periods. Historical timeline. Learning objective. Develop critical literacy skills by identifying major literary periods in American history, understanding their contexts and influences, and analyzing the dominant literary styles, genres, and thematic concerns of each period. What are literary periods? Literary periods are distinct segments in the history of literature that are characterized by unique styles, themes, genres, and cultural contexts. These periods are typically defined by historical context, the time frame during which the literature was produced, influenced by significant events and social changes. Cultural movements, the prevailing cultural, philosophical, and artistic trends that shape the literature of the time. Themes and styles, the common motifs, writing techniques, and aesthetic preferences that are characteristic of the period. Why do they matter? Taking the time to read, research, and understand literary periods as part of your English studies is crucial for several reasons. Let's take a look at some of them. Contextual insight. Knowledge of the period's historical and cultural background provides insight into the themes, characters, and settings of literary works. In addition, knowing the context in which an author lived helps readers understand their motivations, influences, and the societal issues they address. Thematic and stylistic analysis. Literary periods often share common themes and concerns. Knowing about them can help with expectations and analysis. Awareness of stylistic developments helps readers appreciate the evolution of literary techniques and genres. Why do they matter? Taking the time to read, research, and understand literary periods as part of your English studies is crucial for several reasons. Let's take a look at some of them. Comparative studies. Literary periods often react to or build upon preceding periods. Understanding this dialogue between periods allows readers to see how literature evolves over time. By studying different periods, readers can draw connections between texts and understand the broader literary landscape, enriching the reading experience. Literary appreciation. Knowledge of literary periods can enhance one's enjoyment and appreciation of literature. Engaging with literature from various periods exposes readers to a wide range of human experiences, perspectives, and artistic expressions, fostering a more comprehensive and nuanced understanding of literature as a whole. Historical timeline. To truly appreciate the evolution of American literature, it's essential to understand a basic historical timeline of literary periods. Each period embodies their own unique cultural, social, and political contexts, influencing the themes, styles, and genres of the works produced. The colonial and early national period. 1607 to 1830. Definition. This period encompasses the earliest American writings, ranging from the 1600s to the early 1800s. It includes a diverse array of works such as religious sermons and tracts by Puritans, Native American oral traditions transcribed by settlers, and practical and straightforward non-fiction texts written by early colonialists documenting their experiences. Literature from this time often served to record history, promote religious beliefs, reflect on the challenges of settling a new land, and address issues around politics and the future of America. By the early 1800s, a distinctly American literature emerged, capturing the unique aspects of American society and its diverse landscape in new and distinctive ways. Influences. The literature of this period was significantly influenced by several key factors. Native American cultures. Native American oral traditions and storytelling included myths, legends, and folklore that were passed down through generations. These narratives provided insight into the rich cultural heritage, spiritual beliefs, and social structures of indigenous peoples. The Enlightenment. This intellectual movement of the late 1600s brought new ways of thinking that emphasized reason, science, and individualism, and it profoundly impacted American literature and thought. Enlightenment ideas promoted skepticism of authority, the pursuit of knowledge, and the belief in progress and human perfectibility. Influences. The literature of this period was significantly influenced by several key factors. European colonization. The influx of European settlers brought with them the literary traditions and styles of their homelands, particularly from Britain, which shaped early American writings. Puritanism. The Puritans, with their emphasis on strict religious observance and moral righteousness, contributed a wealth of religious texts and sermons aimed at guiding the spiritual lives of the colonists. The American Revolution. The fight for independence from British rule inspired a body of literature that reflected the revolutionary spirit, including political pamphlets, speeches, and essays advocating for freedom and democracy. Common themes. Literature from this era often centered on themes critical to the lives and beliefs of the colonists, including religion. Many writings reflected the Puritans' desire to create a city upon a hill and to live according to their strict moral codes. Morality. Questions of right and wrong, and the moral implications of everyday actions, were frequent subjects, reflected by the religious concerns of the time. Survival. Practical advice on how to survive in the harsh and unfamiliar conditions of the New World provided essential information for new settlers. Exploration. Accounts of exploration and discovery detailed the geography, resources, and indigenous peoples of the Americas. The frontier. The challenges and opportunities of life on the frontier reflected the experiences of those pushing the boundaries of settled land. Stylistic characteristics. Plain style. The Puritans favored a style of writing that was clear, straightforward, and free of ornate language, reflecting their focus on simplicity and piety. Diaries and personal narratives. Many settlers kept diaries and wrote personal narratives that documented their daily lives, struggles, and spiritual reflections, providing valuable first-hand accounts of the colonial experience. Religious sermons. Sermons were a dominant form of literature, used to instruct and inspire the colonists in their faith. Political documents. The period saw the production of significant political writings, including pamphlets, essays, and declarations that articulated the arguments for independence and the principles of the new nation. The Romantic period. 1830 to 1865. Definition. The Romantic period in American literature spans from 1830 to 1865. This era emphasized emotion, individualism, and the sublime in nature, often as a reaction against the rationalism of the Enlightenment and the mechanization brought by the Industrial Revolution. Romanticism challenged rational and logical thinking in favor of emotion, creativity, and imagination. It placed value on the individual over the group and celebrated the natural world over man-made order. Romantic literature sought to explore the depths of human experience and the emotional aspects of the human psyche. Influences. The literature of this period was significantly influenced by several key factors. Industrial Revolution. The rapid industrialization and urbanization of society led to a counter-movement that idealized nature, rural life, and the pastoral landscape, as a refuge from the dehumanizing effects of factories and mechanized labor. Westward expansion. The concept of manifest destiny and the exploration of the American frontier fueled a sense of adventure and the sublime, with vast, untamed landscapes providing rich material for Romantic writers. Influences. The literature of this period was significantly influenced by several key factors. Abolitionist movement. The growing opposition to slavery and the fight for social justice influenced literature, with many writers addressing the moral and ethical issues of their time, often through deeply emotional and personal narratives. European Romanticism. American writers were also influenced by the broader European Romantic movement, drawing inspiration from its emphasis on individual expression, nature, and the supernatural. Common themes. The literature of the Romantic period often focused on several key themes. Nature. Nature was celebrated as a source of beauty, inspiration, and spiritual renewal. Writers depicted it as a powerful, almost divine force that could evoke strong emotions. Individualism. Works emphasized the importance of the individual, personal freedom, and self-expression. Characters often embarked on journeys of self-discovery and personal growth. Imagination. The imagination was seen as a vital tool for exploring new ideas, creating art, and understanding the world in a deeper, more meaningful way. Intuition. Intuitive knowledge and feelings were valued over rational thought and logic, reflecting a belief in the inner voice and emotional truth. Supernatural. Many Romantic works explored supernatural elements, including ghosts, mysterious events, and the unknown, adding an element of mystery and wonder to their stories. Stylistic characteristics. Symbolism was a key technique, with writers using symbols to represent larger themes and ideas, adding layers of meaning to their works. Symbolism. Exoticism. Literature often featured exotic locales and cultures, reflecting a fascination with the unknown and the otherworldly. These settings provided a backdrop for exploring complex emotions and philosophical ideas. Gothic genre. The Gothic genre, with its dark, mysterious settings, haunted castles, and psychological horror, was a popular subset of Romantic literature, reflecting the era's fascination with the macabre and the irrational. Lyricism and poetic prose. Many Romantic works featured lyrical, flowing prose and poetry that aimed to capture the beauty and emotional depth of the subject matter, often blurring the lines between prose and poetry. Realism and naturalism. 1865 to 1914. Definition. Realism is a literary movement which emerged in the mid-19th century and is characterized by its focus on depicting everyday life and society with an objective, truthful approach. Realist writers sought to portray ordinary people and their experiences without idealization or romanticism, emphasizing the mundane aspects of life. An extension of realism, naturalism also aims to present a realistic portrayal of life but with a greater emphasis on the scientific and deterministic aspects. Naturalist writers often explored how environment, heredity, and social conditions shape human behavior and fate, suggesting that individuals are largely subject to the forces beyond their control. Influences. The literature of this period was significantly influenced by several key factors. The Civil War. The devastation and upheaval caused by the Civil War led to a more sober and realistic portrayal of American life in literature, moving away from the romanticized visions of the past. Reconstruction. The post-war Reconstruction era, with its complex social and political challenges, provided fertile ground for writers to explore themes of social change, justice, and the struggles of newly emancipated African Americans. Influences. The literature of this period was significantly influenced by several key factors. Industrialization. The rapid industrialization of America brought about significant changes in society, including urbanization, the rise of the working class, and the harsh realities of factory life, which were often depicted in realist and naturalist literature. Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin's theories on evolution and natural selection influenced naturalist writers, who incorporated ideas about heredity and environmental determinism into their works, portraying humans as products of biological and social forces. Common themes. The literature of this period often focused on several key themes. Everyday life. Realist and naturalist writers focused on the ordinary aspects of life, portraying the experiences of common people in a detailed and unembellished manner. Social issues. Literature from this period often addressed pressing social issues such as poverty, labor conditions, racial inequality, and the challenges of urban life, highlighting the struggles and injustices faced by different segments of society. Determinism. A key theme in naturalism, determinism is the idea that human behavior is determined by factors beyond an individual's control, such as genetics, environment, and social conditions, suggesting a lack of free will. Environment and heredity. Naturalist writers explored how a person's surroundings and genetic background shape their destiny, often depicting characters trapped by their circumstances and unable to escape their fate. Stylistic characteristics. Detailed descriptions. Realist and naturalist works are known for their meticulous attention to detail, providing rich, vivid descriptions of settings, characters, and everyday activities to create an authentic representation of life. Characters from various social classes. Both movements featured a range of characters from different social backgrounds, including the working class, the poor, and marginalized groups, reflecting the diverse experiences and realities of society. Objective narration. Authors aimed to maintain an objective tone, presenting events and characters without overt moralizing or subjective commentary, allowing readers to draw their own conclusions from the narrative. Scientific approach. Naturalist literature can resemble a sociological or psychological study with a scientific or analytical approach to storytelling, focusing on causality and the influence of natural and social forces on behavior. The Modernist period. 1914 to 1945. Definition. Stemming from the tumultuous events of World War I and II, the Great Depression, and a rejection of Enlightenment thinking, the modernist movement aimed to radically break from the past to better represent the modern American experience through innovative techniques and perspectives. Modernist works often questioned reality, embracing ambiguity, fragmentation, and exploring psychological and subjective experiences. Many works were written in a pessimistic or chaotic manner, to mirror the confusion and disillusionment felt by Americans who had lost faith in the American way of life and struggled to understand their new fragmented sense of identity. Influences. The literature of this period was significantly influenced by several key factors. World War I and World War II. The unprecedented destruction and traumas of war shattered previous beliefs in progress and human rationality, leading to a widespread sense of disillusionment and a questioning of traditional values. The Great Depression. Economic turmoil and widespread hardship further fueled the sense of instability and disillusionment. Literature reflected the struggles of individuals and society coping with economic despair, social change, and the erosion of the American dream. New technology. Significant technological innovations such as automobiles, telephones and film changed perceptions of reality, prompting writers to experiment with new narrative techniques to capture the fast-paced, ever-changing nature of modern life. Common themes. The literature of this period often focused on several key themes. Alienation. Modernist literature frequently portrays characters who feel isolated from society, disconnected from others, and estranged from their own identities. This sense of isolation is often a response to the rapid changes and uncertainties of the modern world. Fragmentation. Reflecting the fragmented nature of modern existence, modernist works often feature fragmented structures, disjointed timelines, and multiple perspectives to mirror the complexity and disintegration of traditional social structures. The inner self. Modernist writers delve into the inner workings of the mind, focusing on the subconscious, dreams, and individual perception. This emphasis on the inner self often reveals the complexities and contradictions of human consciousness. Disillusionment. A pervasive sense of disillusionment with modern society and its institutions is a hallmark of modernist literature as writers critique the superficiality, materialism, and moral decay of contemporary life, often portraying a world lacking in meaning and coherence. Stylistic characteristics. Stream of consciousness. This technique depicts the continuous flow of a character's thoughts and feelings in order to provide an intimate, unfiltered look into the character's mind, often lacking conventional punctuation and logical sequence. Experimentation with language and form. Modernist writers pushed the boundaries of traditional prose and poetry. This experimentation includes the use of unconventional syntax, ambiguous meanings, and innovative forms such as free verse and collage. Fragmented structure. Modernist works often break away from linear storytelling by jumping between different times, places, and characters, reflecting the disjointed and chaotic nature of modern life. Symbolism and imagery. Rich symbolism and imagery are used to convey deeper meanings and evoke emotions. Modernist writers often rely on symbolic representations to explore abstract concepts and complex themes. The contemporary period. 1945 present. Definition. This period is marked by a broad range of styles, themes, and subjects, reflecting the pluralistic and rapidly changing nature of contemporary society influenced by globalization, technological advancements, and cultural diversity. Postmodern literature, a key movement within this era, abstains from seeking absolute meaning, instead celebrating fragmentation, playfulness, and disorder. It includes a variety of forms such as realist, metafictive, absurdist, autobiographical, feminist, and African American perspectives. Some commonalities are their engagement with contemporary society, the desire to break from established conventions to explore subjective reality, and the prioritization of internal feelings over external factors. Some contemporary texts portray a strong desire to engage with social issues or to correct past injustices, while others project the less serious desire to just enjoy oneself. Influences. The literature of this period was significantly influenced by several key factors. Civil rights movement. The civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s had a profound impact on contemporary literature, bringing issues of race, equality, and social justice to the forefront. This period saw an increase in works by and about marginalized communities, highlighting the struggle for civil rights and the quest for identity and recognition. The Cold War. The geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War era influenced contemporary literature by introducing themes of paranoia, surveillance, and the threat of nuclear war. Writers explored the psychological and societal impacts of living under constant threat and the ideological battles of the time. Influences. The literature of this period was significantly influenced by several key factors. Postmodernism. Emerging in the mid-20th century, postmodernism questioned the assumptions and narratives of modernism, embracing skepticism, irony, and a playful approach to storytelling. This literature often challenges the notion of absolute truth, emphasizing the relativity of meaning and the constructed nature of reality. Digital revolution. Digital technology and the Internet have revolutionized literature, both in form and content. New modes of storytelling have emerged, such as hypertext fiction and digital poetry, and the reach of literature has expanded through e-books and online platforms. It's also influenced themes about technology, identity, and society. Common themes. The literature of this period often focused on several key themes. Identity. Contemporary literature frequently explores the complexities of identity, including issues of race, gender, sexuality, and personal identity. Writers examine how individuals navigate and construct their identities in a multicultural and interconnected world. Multiculturalism. Reflecting the diverse nature of contemporary society, works often highlight the experiences of various cultural groups. Themes of cultural heritage, immigration, and the blending of traditions are common, showcasing the richness and challenges of multicultural interactions. Existentialism. Influenced by existential philosophy, contemporary literature often delves into questions of existence, meaning, and the human condition. Characters may grapple with feelings of alienation, freedom, and the search for purpose in an uncertain world. Impact of tech. The rapid advancement of technology and its pervasive presence in daily life are frequent subjects. Writers explore how technology shapes human relationships, alters perceptions of reality, and raises ethical questions about privacy, AI, and the digital self. Stylistic characteristics. Metafiction. Works self-consciously address their own fictional nature by breaking the fourth wall, playing with conventions, and blurring the line with reality, encouraging readers to question the very nature of storytelling itself. Nonlinear narratives. Narratives that jump between different time periods, perspectives, and plot lines. This fragmented approach reflects the complexity of modern life and challenges readers to piece together the story from various angles. Intertextuality. Texts reference, quote, or allude to other literary works, cultural artifacts, and historical events, creating a web of connections that enriches the reading experience and highlights the interconnectedness of cultural production. Diverse voices and experiences. Representation often from historically marginalized groups. This inclusivity reflects a broader understanding of the human experience and aims to provide a more comprehensive and nuanced view of society. Activity time. It's your turn. Research task. Educational poster. 1. Working with a partner, choose a period of American literature and select an influential author from this time period. 2. Conduct research to find information about your chosen author and take notes. Ensure you consult a wide variety of sources and integrate information in different media or formats, for example, written and visually. 3. Use your notes to create an educational poster or infographic that includes both images and written information. Include information such as authorial context, information about the author's early life, education, career, major life experiences, values and beliefs, etc. Historical context, information about the literary period including historical influences, key events and/or movements. Overall impact. Describe their legacy and how they influenced American literature. Writing style. Information about the author's writing style, characteristics, and common themes. Famous works and quotations. Describe the most well-known texts, poetry, drama, novels, etc., that were created by the author and/or record 3 to 4 famous quotations. Images or photos. Copy and paste images, or links to images, that you might use in your poster. The end. Thank you for watching.